Okay, this is a quick tutorial on how to use Lens Studio to make Snapchat filters, specifically using your PFP pics. So you should be able to use any picture you have and remove the background and then slap it on a filter. So you have something like this. Woo! Who wouldn't want that, right? So there's a couple things you need to do before you can get started. One is you need to download Lens Studio. Make sure it's the most recent version. You also need to have Snapchat on your phone. If you already do, you need to update it to make sure you're also on this most recent version. And then third, you're going to need your profile pic with the background removed and transparent. So it should be saved as a PNG. However you want to do that, it should be fine. If you want to use Photoshop or Photopea or GIMP or whatever, Canva, there's a couple apps out there that will remove the background for you. And once you do all that, you're going to have to pair your Lens Studio with Snapchat. So when you have Lens Studio downloaded, you go up here in the top right corner and log into My Lenses and log in. I hate these. And they're gonna make sure you grant them access, continue, and then you should be good to go. Lens Studio has a lot of templates that are really great. They all have tutorials actually, but they can be a little complicated. And we're just gonna try to keep this simple. So we're going to start a new project. We're not going to use any of the tutorials. And once we get that going, you'll have this screen up here. To make a filter for Snapchat, you actually don't need a camera. You can use their own previews, so that's really helpful. If you do want to use a camera, you just click up here for your webcam preview, and mine's black because mine's closed right now, but you have all these options here too. Super helpful when you're trying to do a complicated filter. But our 2D PFP pic is very simple to do, and it shouldn't take too long. There's a couple things to get familiar with, and let's start with the panels on Lens Studio. Up here you have your objects panel, and this is how you're going to add stuff to your face basically. In resources, this panel is where you're going to drag and drop photos to use your resources basically. This is your 2D scene, this is your camera view, and like I said, you can transfer onto web view, webcam if you want. And then inspector panel is where you're going to do all your work actually. So let's say we wanted to slap a Penelope onto her face. We're going to go to objects and you hit that plus sign and it opens up this window. We're going to go to face effects and go to face image. If you're watching older tutorials, they might call this a face sprite, but in this version of Lens Studio it's called a face image. And it's going to pull up these. This is where your picture is going to go. So you can see it's here as well, and then also in the inspector under texture you see the same picture icon. That's where you're going to drop your picture. So to start off, you open up your file because you already made your picture ahead of time, and you're going to drag and drop it, and then you want to make sure image 1 is checked and highlighted like it is there. Then you go over to inspector panel and you select per. Okay, and there he is, and all you really got to do, you're like 80% done now. You just got to resize them. I kind of want this for the purpose of this filter to be kind of big. Something to remember, the bigger your image is, the farther away your camera has to be to film it, if that makes sense. If you're doing a selfie, you kind of have to stretch your arm farther away to get more of your head in there. But if you're having someone else film for you, it's not a problem. And this little square here is where the picture is going to pivot on your head. I kind of want to pin him onto my forehead, and you can see when I move around, there's some green dots that pop up, and that's my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. It's not too important right now because it's not a complicated filter. So I'm just going to put it like that. And we are almost done. All you have to do now is name it. So you go up here to project info, the top left. You name it. And then this is what you select which camera you want to use. Like I said, depends if someone's filming for you or if you prefer front or back camera. I select both. It's not a big deal. Spectacles 3 I don't select actually. That's for the Lens Studio glasses. I don't have that. And then you go to Lens Preview, and remember we made this filter. We didn't use a template, so we're going to have to pick a preview. And this filter is activated as soon as you open your camera basically, which is called idle. So we're going to pick that. For other filters you can program it to start when you do a certain prompt, like open your mouth or raise eyebrows. But this is just when you open up the camera basically. So we're going to select idle and you hit apply in the bottom right. And then here you also see a little plus sign. That's an icon that is used on Snapchat. So you want to put a picture there as well. I just used the actual PFP project pic. Then you hit apply. And then if you hit preview in Snapchat, you get a code. You can scan that too and you can test it on your phone. If you want, you can just go ahead and publish the lens up here in the top right. You click on that. It uploads it, and then it asks you if this is a new lens or if you're fixing a lens. So for whatever reason, if you don't like the size or whatever, you would hit this if you had already submitted it. But this is our first time, so we are going to submit new lens. Now you can hover over these little info circles and it'll tell you what these boxes are for. Lens tag is kind of like a searchable hashtag if you want it to be found on Snapchat. If it's like a private lens that's just for you for your personal use, I don't think you need to fill it out, but it's up to you. And scan triggers is what triggers your filter to start. Ours is for people, but you can make this filter for cats or dogs or whatever. And this is if you want it to be public or private. I've found that if it's public, it kind of works better, the filter, so I'm just going to select that. And you hit submit lens, and then you get a little dancing red panda, and he's super happy, and you're kind of done. You're just waiting now. You can hit manage my lens. If you come up here, this is the one we just did. You can see the status is in review. If you click on it, it'll be a kind of grayed out the information. Might take a while to load. It's loading. Go back. There. It's actually looks like it's already been approved since when I submitted it. Yep. It's in the public domain right now. So if I wanted to share it, you can hit share lens and you'll get a link and you can share that on Discord, Twitter, or you can also click on this snap code and it will show your snap code, and you'll have to open up Snapchat on your phone and scan it on the camera. And when you have it open, you need to touch your screen so it knows to scan the code, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that's about it. You can also make more. Make as many as you want. I think Snapchat's lenses are pretty cool because they're so fast, and they also have so many, oops, I didn't mean to publish. They have so many templates to use, so once you get familiar with just doing that on your own, you can really experiment and do some cool things. And yeah, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, drop them below or whatever. And have a good day. Bye.